Okay, let's go on to WWE TV. Lee, I have a question for you. We're on the road to WrestleMania. Does anything happening on WWE TV right now even matter? Doesn't it seem like WrestleMania is predetermined, the outcome? Should I even be watching? Is all of this filler or not? Is there any value to this month of programming?
To watching anything right now? I mean, I think it's great to keep up, and I think the excitement that, genuinely the excitement from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania is like the best season of wrestling. And well, actually, I would say till the Monday after WrestleMania, 'cause that's when the big debuts,
Right.
re-debuts happen, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. It's the biggest excitement. So I would say the Cody and the Rock stuff, because of how infrequently Rock and Roman are there, maybe it feels like they're spinning their wheels until they can kind of hit the gas. But other things, like I'm intrigued. Like, I really thought LA Knight would have a prominent role coming into this, and I don't see him doing much. I'm not sure who's going to end up facing Logan Paul. They're trying to figure out how they're going to get Chad Gable to where he gets to beat Gunther at WrestleMania. Like, there's
Oh,
all these things
yeah.
that, like, the main story feels pretty locked in. We know we're getting Drew versus Seth. We know that Seth is going to turn on Cody and it's going to be the new
What?
bloodline.
Get
We
out of
know
here.
these things are going to happen.
Yeah, we're
But
going
the
to totally
Intercontinental
see
and the
the
US
Shield
and the
come
tag
back.
teams
The
are
Shield will be
still,
so relevant in 2024, Lee. That's a great twist of
if they
fate.
got the other guy back, that would, I mean, who
No,
knows?
nobody wants the Shield back. Nobody wants more Rollins on TV, I don't think.
You know, you
Maybe
know.
Becky is the only person that wants to see more
We're of
Seth
a certain
Rollins.
age where that would not be nostalgia for us, but the
Yeah.
same people who, like, when Hogan came back at WrestleMania X8 and people were
Oh,
like, why are you marking out over Hogan? He's
I
the
hated it.
past. That was my childhood.
I
And so
hated
this
it.
would be the same way for some. The Shield was their childhood, and if they
Ugh.
came back, it would be like, oh, my favorite thing from my childhood is back,
Wow.
baby.
Wow. Let it be
So
Cena then. Just let it be Cena. Remember when
the third
remember when
member.
Chain Gang Cena made a like re-emergence at WrestleMania? That
Yeah,
was
that was funny.
dynamic. That was
That was
terrific.
funny.
Um,
Yeah. But I mean, I think the mid card is still interesting, relevant,
yeah.
and we know what's happening. I think the women's and the men's world title pictures are pretty locked in, and we're just biding time until we get there. But the everything under that is still pretty interesting, I
I
think.
really think they're gonna add another female to the Becky Rhea. I really think they're
I
gonna
hope
add
not.
another female. I really think the Intercontinental title will be determined in a ladder match, the same way it was
Hmm.
when the Del Rio and Cody Stardust and Kofi and that big, it was that wrestle. I don't remember when
Yeah.
it was, a few years ago. It was a big, like,
Many years
started
ago.
Mania. Do you remember that
Right.
one?
No, I wasn't watching then.
I think we'll see either a free for all, but probably a ladder
Yeah.
will determine it. I think I think there's not a lot interesting happening on WWE TV right now. And
Hmm.
here's why I think that, because some of the call ups that I would have hoped for that night, the Raw after Mania,
Hmm.
they already got called up, like Braun Breaker and Tiffany Stratton and Naomi's return, and
Yeah.
that was a lot of new blood to interject into, I think, what's kind of already a crowded title scene. I'm thinking there's not enough titles, but I also there's some there's something on TV that happened when Aldis and the other commissioner said, like, we've got a plan for the tag titles moving
Right.
forward, and we're going to announce that. I think they are going to split them, and I think it is going to be.
That would be awesome.
But how do they feel? Are they going to do a tag team tournament
Scramble.
or battle
Yeah.
royal or something? Yeah, is that what's going to be on the belt in the I mean on the ladders in the belt?
Right.
Um, it seems like New Catch Republic and DIY are both getting a push, and maybe that's the I don't know. Maybe that's for the vacated title. So
Mm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they've been needing, I mean, obviously, they've been needing to combine the tag belts for literal years now. Ever since they brought them
Separate.
together, it was like, yeah, they've needed to separate them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, or I guess, I mean, combine more like what they did where Roman just combined two belts into one and then they created a new one. But yeah, basically a Raw and a SmackDown tag team division that each have their own titles could be super interesting. And I think Mania is going to be um, Awesome Truth, and they're going to take out the Judgment Day. And then I think that, yeah, if DIY wins the other set of belts, that would be awesome. Or we have DIY implode against Awesome Truth. Maybe our truth is, and then our truth gets this awesome story where it was like the last two factions I was a part of imploded. So I'm going to start my own. And then like our truth starts like the new oddities or something like that. That would be fun.
That would be something, man. Like Bronson Reed be the big man. The oddities.
Um,
Well, I
yeah,
think I think what you are revealing though is a need for creative writing. That
yeah.
something creative has to happen. Something um right now they're in an era of high popularity again,
Oh
where they're
yeah.
starting to see stadiums at capacity, and it's not, it can't just continue to be 30-minute Roman entrances and promos that are going to keep this era going. I don't think. Yeah. This, it did. It felt, that's another reason I was like, is this WWE TV even worth watching? Because last week I watched The Rock and the Bloodline do probably the first hour of SmackDown. And it was like the most boring. No, the promo was great. I'm sorry, I'm looking you right in the eyes, Roman, when I say this. You're not
Acknowledge me.
you're not who we want to see for the first hour of the show. Make your way
Yeah.
slowly to the ring and say very little, and then have The Rock compensate for your lack of
With
charisma.
40-minute promos.
Yeah. And you're just like, whoa.
Right. Well, I mean, to your point though, I think like for example, I don't watch SmackDown because I can't get it where I'm at, but Raw, the main event of Raw was Cody Rhodes fighting against Paul Heyman and a bunch of jobbers who were pretending to be police officers. And then he sat a chair in the middle of the ring and said, "I'm coming for you." And that was it. Like that was the most boring ending to a
Yeah.
Raw I think I've seen in years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Years.
I listened to uh Busted Open, and Bully Ray had an incredible alternate story that they could have explored with that. And
Mm,
it was so much better. It was so much better. But he said
yeah.
at some point, Cody has to instill fear into Heyman. At some
Yeah.
point, Cody has to be a credible threat.
Yeah.
And he's not yet. He's not a credible threat to the bloodline. So they need to work hard on establishing the credibility of Cody's retribution
Threats.
versus it
Yeah.
just being, who cares? This guy's a pushover. He's a baby face. He's so likable, but
Right.
he's always gonna be the one that gets beat up. And if he ever wins, it's just gonna be an accident.
Yeah.
Like at some point we got to turn the corner and say, like, this guy's a credible threat. Watch out, here I come. And
Boogity
I'm
boogity.
on. Don't you want to see Cody go off the rails the way they did in the Attitude Era, like with Kurt Angle driving a milk truck in the arena and hosing
Mm,
down the ring? Don't you want to see Cody
yeah.
go off the rails? To where it's like he's showing up in the hospital room and hitting, whoever with a bedpan, right? Like think about
Mick
what it,
whoever. That's my
yeah,
new name for him.
whomever, he who cannot be named. Like, isn't it one of those things where you just go, hey, 20 years ago, the guy who was the perennial threat to the title would have done anything in his power
Yeah.
to prove himself to be a worthy threat and an unpredictable force, and I think that's what they got to do.
Yeah.
They got to have Cody just show up in an SUV with his family, with the dog, and just be like, take off the tie and just go head hunting for somebody on the bloodline and
Mm.
just embarrass them,
Mm.
embarrass them on screen.
What if Cody picked, like, we've got how many weeks? 3, 4 weeks till Mania. What if
Yeah.
every
A full
show,
month.
not
Yeah. 4 weeks.
okay, what if every show or every week Cody said, this week, Jimmy Uso.
Yeah.
And then the rest of
Yep.
the episode was Jimmy Uso running around
Yeah.
hiding. And at the end of it, you saw Jimmy just like laid out. You don't even see the attack. You just see Jimmy
Yeah.
Uso laid out in a pile of his own vomit and he's just done. And then the next episode, Cody only like says 2 words. He just walks up to the camera and
Yeah.
goes,
Solo.
Solo Sokoa, and
Solo
walks
Sikoa.
off.
Yeah.
And that's it. Just
Yeah.
walks off. And then the
Yeah.
rest of that episode is Solo getting hunted
They
down.
need
Like
to
that would be
turn
interesting.
Cody into a wolf. They need to turn him
Ooh.
into a wolf that is hunting
Ooh.
down the bloodline and going for a no mercy outcome with them. That's what we need to see.
Ooh.
That's what we need to see. That should be the build to
Yeah.
Mania.
I think so. I agree. I 100% agree. In the meantime, instead of getting direct, like straight to camera things, we're getting subtleties. And
Yeah.
have you noticed, like, The Rock did for 2 weeks in a row this,
Give him the L
and
for loser.
yeah, instead of the ones. And this time Paul Heyman, like they focused on him and Paul like stared Rock's hand down, like,
Yeah.
I know what's coming. I know what's gonna happen. Like they're building that Rock is gonna turn on Roman at Mania with just one thumb. That's
What's
it. Just
you're
one
saying this
thumb.
is represents an angle of turn, a 90-degree angle?
Well, no, it's because originally he was like his thumb was pointing at Roman. Whenever he's done that, it's
Oh.
always like he instead of him pointing up, he's pointing. But one way or another, it's just instead of the Rock conforming, the Rock is saying, I'm different. I
Hmm.
stand out. I'm the one who doesn't fit in. And so like they're foreshadowing instead of building this deep, like
Interesting.
in your face lore of Cody.
Yeah.
So, but what if we could get both?
Yeah. Think about
What if we could
25
get
years
both?
ago. What happened when you saw that black pickup truck pull up backstage at Monday Night Raw and Steve
Yeah.
Austin in his hunting clothes got out of the truck, right? And you're like,
Yeah.
oh man, it's going down tonight. He is
Yeah.
going crazy. In the next hour, he's going to find somebody and he's going to shake them up and it's going to be on. Right. That's
And
what I
instead,
miss.
Cody comes out and just adjusts his tie and stands there.
Yeah. I am a fancy boy. I am so fancy. Like, come on.
Wow.
Come on. Don't
Right.
be Connecticut blue blood. Be,
Connecticut Blue Blood Cody.
yeah. You got a neck tattoo, bro. Like, you gotta
Ugly one,
unleash the
too.
fury. You gotta unleash the fury with that neck tat. Tattooed people are known to be a little unstable. You know what I'm saying? And face and neck tattoo people are known to be highly unstable. So unleash
Right.
it. Be your true
Unleash
tattooed
the
self,
neck tattoo.
Cody, bro. Yeah. Anyway,
Cody Bromans.
wrap
No,
us
I
up.
agree. I think
Oh,
I
okay,
think
I'm
we
sorry.
need to see something like this. I think
Yeah.
your booking is better, Rusty.
I just
Let's
want to
just
see
run with that.
Cody unhinged, man. Just let it
Mm,
fly. Go.
mm,
The same guy who shattered the throne with a sledgehammer, right? Be that
yeah.
Cody. Be Cody
Ooh.
that's in the face of the opposition, unrelentingly offensive Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all for me.
Did he always wear a geek suit when he was in the other company too?
He
Or
did.
is that just since he came? Okay, never
He
mind.
did. He's always been a sharp dressed man. He's always been a
Gotcha.
businessman. I think he does that to show, that he's got a big brain and that he's handsome and that he's elite, right? And but that
Gotcha.
he's like that he's the behind this, and I don't mean, I just mean like behind the scenes, he's looking at the numbers, right?
Right.
He's vice president material, right? He's
Mhm.
COO guy. And I
Ooh.
think he's still, one thing they're missing on WWE TV is like his wife has never been introduced formally,
Yeah.
properly, right? And neither is his daughter, and neither is his dog, right? So now we get this
Neither has
promo,
DDP.
right? It was like, don't talk about my dog. Like, I know the dog's name, but like the fans don't. The
Ooh.
fans inside this universe don't. They don't know what you think they know about you. My son
Right.
doesn't know what I know about Indy Cody. He doesn't know any of those
Mm.
things. So you got to bring him into the WWE universe. They don't exist. It's like an improv stage, and you're referencing a skit that you did last weekend, but you haven't introduced it on stage tonight. You
Mm.
got to reintroduce the characters that you're, yeah.
Interesting. I would agree. I have no clue who those people are either. I've never seen his wife in anything.
She's
I've
wonderful.
never seen his dog in anything, and I don't know. I didn't know he had kids at all. So there you go. I mean, I'm not joking. Like
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of his wife and him standing together. Other than that, I have no knowledge of her whatsoever, or the kid, or the dog. But I would love to see a John Wick angle. What if my fantasy booking of
No.
Seth Rollins turning
Oh,
is that Seth Rollins stomps the dog?
get out of here. No, you
Boom.
can't.
And then Cody Rhodes goes
We can't.
John Wick on
No, in this
everyone.
age, no, you can't. You
Yeah.
can't even allude to animal cruelty in any way. Like it just would
Mm,
not. It would be the wrong move. It would maybe in the
mm.
Attitude Era, this day and age, there would be so many lawsuits. It would be of such bad taste. People would have the wrong backlight, and it wouldn't be a heel work. It would be like, we're
We're in
getting X-Pac
trouble.
heat. We're mad.
But
They're
they
mad
made
at
four
us.
John Wick movies out of that premise.
Terrible movies.
Oh, good
Terrible
to know. I've never
movies.
seen them, but I've heard that they're the best action movies of a generation.
If
So,
you want to turn your brain off and watch 4 hours of shootout scenes, yes.
okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Nice. Nice.
I wanted to like John Wick. I hated it. I just hated it. And I like Keanu, and I like The Matrix, and I like all that, but like I just couldn't get into it. I just couldn't get into it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I just didn't watch it. So mine's a omission, not a like intention. But what about LA Knight? Like out of all of the things that have happened, I feel like LA Knight has lost biggest because he's not even in the US title picture, the IC title picture, but he is still arguably one of the most fan favorite guys, period.
Yeah, it's interesting to see like who who do people care about still. Um, there's going to have to be some link to Cody. There's going to have to be a reestablishment of viability to LA Knight. Um, and I don't think it's going to come from his own heat with AJ Styles. Like that's not the build. That's not the rub. Maybe a feud with Logan Paul would be the thing that really helps him come back over, but it really feels like he's cooled off, and it really feels like the people that were excited about him a year ago, they still care, but they're not. Guys, just like I don't know any other way to say it. Is just he's just kind of cooled off. He's lost. He's not main event material right now. Um, and he should be. I would
Yeah.
think but he's really slowed down. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but like, did he get in trouble, or is there a reason they've kind of pulled back on LA Knight? Have they figured out he's just not? Is he not selling the merchandise?
Oh no,
maybe.
his merch numbers are big. I mean, I haven't
Okay.
looked at them recently, but I know that they're big. But I think the problem that they're running into is the fact that you called out they have so many top tier performers. And if Roman and Seth are going to sit on their titles and make them, stink like their booty, then everybody else just has to sit and wait. Like as soon as we get Roman out of the picture, I think Cody has a 3 to 4 month run, and then somebody else takes that belt. And dear Lord, please give Drew McIntyre the belt as soon as possible. But I do think, as much as I love Drew and as much as I love this character, I think 100% that Drew will be a transitional champion to Gunther. So then we get Gunther, and Gunther can hold the world title for a very long time. And the
Hmm.
WWE title starts to not hot potato, but every few months there's somebody else in that picture. So LA Knight takes it, and then Cody bumps down to the bottom again and starts to work his way up. But then, maybe somebody else takes it from him. Who knows? Maybe they give main event Jay a shot. Maybe they do whatever, but they start to kind of build that out. And then you do have one title, Gunther's, that is just like, how are we going to get this off of him? And you've got one title where there's some rotation, there's some things. So
Yeah. Well, the US title, I think is the way forward for LA Knight.
yeah, it would be nice. Be a good
And
start.
I think you need to reestablish some credibility with the US title. I think having it on Ray was okay. Um, the US title is what made Cena
Mm.
like a household name, right? The open challenge. It was the
Yeah.
fighting champ. I mean, it was just a lot of fun. It was, you wanted to see him defend that belt. You wanted to see him to have a big match every week. And that's what LA Knight could be. Open
Mm.
challenge, John Cena style, LA Knight, fighting champ. Let him shred him on the mic early in the
Yeah.
show, set that thing. And I think it's gotta be allowed to be the main event on SmackDown. It's got to
Yeah.
be given room that Roman has occupied for years.
Yeah.
It can't be a mid-card title anymore. And it can't be
Right.
attached to an aging veteran that the fans aren't high on. It's got to be on the top merch guy. It's got to be on
Yeah.
the weekly defender of it. Um, and that would
Yep.
be great. That would be great to see LA Knight in that role. And until he cools off for real, let him do it. What else?
Yeah.
What else? But again, this is the question I asked you, Lee, at the beginning of this segment: is why should I watch WWE TV right now?
Yeah.
Because does it even matter? And I'm hoping we can get to a yes, it matters again.
Mm.
This has been really boring WWE TV, which should be the most exciting episodes of the year leading up to Mania. And we're not getting that. We're not getting
Mm.
that.
Yep. Well, it's true. I mean, in hindsight, we'll all look back post WrestleMania and just go, "Oh my gosh, look at how great WrestleMania was."
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully that's
I
and
think we
that's what
will.
we'll remember years from now. But while we're sitting in the slow, long process in between,
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be like, what's going on? I mean, right now the most interesting things to me are Drew McIntyre and Chad Gable, and that's it. Like, I mean, I'm not really interested in Logan Paul. I mean, aside from if it's just him versus KO again, I don't know. I've kind of seen that. I don't know. If they keep building that, great.
I can't be one
And
on one. It can't. It's got to be like a 7-man match.
ooh,
It's got to be. The
ooh,
title, the Intercontinental title cannot be taken cleanly away from Gunther. It has to be a match that puts him at a disadvantage and puts all of the talent that they've been teasing us with into a match. And a lot of guys almost win it and almost get there. And it sets them up for a run post Mania, right?
mm,
Like a Karrion Cross. How good for Karrion Cross would it be to almost win the IC title, to have his hand on at the top of the ladder, to be unclipping the belt, right? And then be pulled down by the winner, Chad Gable. That would put Cross over as a credible threat, right? Or Bobby Lashley. How good for the mid card, no one cares about Bobby Lashley's career would it be if at Mania Lashley has just power bombed Gunther and just stepped on his chest to walk across, to climb the ladder, to touch the belt, to almost undo it, to then have Dominic Mysterio knock him off, through a table and
Right. And take the
incapacitating.
IC belt.
Right. But I'm like that, but like you need a guy to get a push that propels him. It's almost like the gravity of space, right? You just give that shove and it puts them on the trajectory to keep soaring and going, And I think that's what we need. That's what we need. That's what DIY needs. They need to have the best showing of their career.
Right.
They need to have with the old black and gold magic on NXT. They need to have that at Mania against the New Catch Republic in a match that is a 5-star match that highlights the best in-ring performances of their career, which previously were on NXT that no one has ever seen. So,
well, I don't know if no one's ever seen it, but I've never seen it. I haven't watched
and
NXT,
you're someone. So if you someone has never seen it, who's to think anyone else has? I'm just kidding. Well, take us out, Lee. I could go on forever about all this, and we will next week or tomorrow night on our stream on Twitch.
Right.
Join us every Friday on Twitch for Lee and I's Friday Night SmackDown. I don't know. We don't have a great name for our show. If you've got a great name for our Friday night stream, put it in the comments on this video, or else Purpo will continue to write, let's talk about it on our so that's officially, that's the title of our show that we've been given. And we'd love to have a pitch for a better title at some point.
So last minute, hey, if you're still watching, go into the comments section and help us out there, because we're loving it. And by the way, thank you for all the comments. We're getting a ton of them lately. We're trying to respond to some. We appreciate all of them, and hopefully you guys interact lovingly in the comments section, because this is an awesome community. We're thankful to be your Champions Chat content creators, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.